Hudson County View live at Uncut, and I'm your host, the guy that tells you 2 and 2 makes 3, your favorite cult of personality, John R. Hudson. Going to talk the latest and greatest in Hudson County news, and we're going to lead off here with on a very, very, extremely, really sad note. Of course, you've heard about this triple homicide in the Jersey City Heights from last week. We had a vigil on Sunday that I was able to attend, and just heartbreaking stuff. A young mother, 31, and her 2 children, ages 5 and 9, fatally stabbed by an ex-partner of the mother, and again, just really makes you just feel terrible. I mean, just a horrible set of circumstances, but we're still going to let you know what's going on there, talk a little bit about the funeral arrangements, and about also some resources available here in Hudson when we're talking about domestic violence. So at a more typical note, we're also going to be talking about 2025 elections. Obviously, we've been off to the races really ever since the calendar turned. And in one instance, we had Musab Ali. Of course, he's running for mayor of Jersey City. He got endorsed by the Minnesota Attorney General. That's Keith Ellison. So they did that on a Zoom call where we talked about his public safety plan. So we're going to outline what happened over there. Also going to talk a little bit about this bill from Assemblywoman Jessica Ramirez, and it actually came about due to a victim of Sean Combs. Of course, many of you know him as Puff Daddy or P. Diddy, and he's currently being held in federal prison. But this bill would actually make it have stiffer penalties if you actually hide evidence of a crime. And we're also going to talk a little bit about some of our U.S. representatives visiting an ICE detention center. So all that and a whole lot more right after this word from our sponsors.
No one plans on heart disease, but everyone should have a plan for it. We help patients of all lifestyles and medical histories plan for healthy hearts. We offer convenient screenings without judgment, hundreds of preventive programs, and women's heart specialists. And we're the largest cardiac surgery program in New Jersey. Make plans for a healthy heart with RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net.
Hudson County View live at Uncut, John R. Hudson. So let's talk about this slaying in the Heights. This was held at the Pershing Field Community Center, and it was hosted by Assemblywoman Jessica Ramirez, Ward D. Councilman Yusef Saleh. So quick recap. I mean, I'm sure anybody watching already knows, but just in case, Luisa Urbano, she was 31, Juan Martin Urbano, 9, and Diana Ramirez, 5, were killed by an ex-partner of Luisa's, and that's Napoleon Romero Andure. He was also 31. And he broke in and fatally stabbed them about a week and a half ago. As a result, he's facing 3 counts of murder along with weapons offenses. So, it's just always so tragic when we have to talk about the loss of the lives of children. Needless to say, but, it just makes you feel gutted. I mean, at least it makes me feel that way. So with that, there was a number of speakers at this event, including Reverend Tammy Weaver-Henry. She's the chair of the Jersey City Women's Advisory Board, which was started in 2022. She said, in part, regardless of your race, your religion, or your creed, this should anger you. This should really piss you off, because I'm to the point where every single time Pastor Tammy gets that phone call, I cry. And she continued later that if I sound like I'm angry, it's because I am. I was a daughter of a domestic violence survivor. My mother walked away from my father. It's the best thing she could have ever done. A man put his hands on me. I put my hands back on him. That's the last time I was a victim of domestic violence. But there are women out here that don't have anyone to talk to. And this event was very well attended. You had about 125 people, including most of the candidates for mayor, which included Jim McGreevey, Bill O'Day, Joyce Waterman, and James Solomon, and of course a number of Ward D residents. And beyond, too. I mean, I definitely saw some faces that weren't from the Heights neighborhood. And when we heard from Maria, she said, we're here tonight in sorrow and unity and remembrance. And we hold these candles not just as a tribute to the lives of Louisa, of Diana, of Juan Martin, but also it's symbolic. It's going to serve us as light to the darkness that's domestic violence. And, she went on to talk about how Louisa was not just a mother, but a daughter, a sister, a niece, and how she deserved to be safe in her home, of course, as those kids did as well. And, you saw some portraits in the video I posted of them as a family, really unfortunate again. So not really too much else I could say other than the funeral is going to be at the Rivera Funeral Home, 4543 John F. Kennedy Boulevard in North Bergen. That's Friday, 3 p.m. And a GoFundMe page you guys probably saw was launched last week, and it's done exceedingly well. One of the few bright spots here. As of this moment, it's at $33,623, and they were looking for a goal of $30,000 because they're looking to get those bodies shipped back to Colombia in addition to the funeral services. So, thank goodness at least the community was able to come together and show support in that fashion. So, going back to the political spectrum now, we'll talk a little bit about 2025 Jersey City mayoral race. As I just mentioned, Musab Ali. He got this endorsement from Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison, and a lot of funny comments online like, well, what the heck is an endorsement from Minnesota doing in Jersey City? And Musab answered that to a point. He said Keith Ellison has been a leader on criminal justice and public safety. Now, the reason that he's saying that, if you guys are unfamiliar, is he was actually the Attorney General who was serving in that post when George Floyd was murdered, and he actually, through his office, of course, led to the charges being filed against Derek Chauvin, the police officer that had the knee on George Floyd's neck. So, certainly a guy with national prominence. I don't know how many people in Jersey City know that, but I guess we're about to find out to some degree. So, talking about his public safety plan, it was a lot talking about building trust between the public and the police. He talked about wanting to renew the effort to create civilian complaint review boards with subpoena power. Of course, this was something we heard for, probably the past 4 or 5 years or so, and it's stalled out in the legislature. He wants to get that back going. And another thing of interest, when I asked him what he thought about these major police discipline reports and if we could do more, he said, number one, they should always be reporting on time, which is January 31st. And by the way, at least 4 municipalities in Hudson, including Jersey City, are out of compliance right now because they haven't filed. And secondly, he said he would actually make internal affairs records public once investigations are complete. So that's not something you hear very often in New Jersey. That's an interesting take. And, hearing from Ellison, he said shortly after the meeting that, in my eyes, there's no downside. That's not it. He said, I share your view that everyone deserves to be safe in their communities, in their neighborhood. We have to have a durable, lasting relationship with law enforcement. This is why this plan from our future mayor is so important. He understands that building community meetings, doing patrols, helping people in a mental health crisis, these are all great ideas. So, of course, that's not until November 4th. It's a nonpartisan race. And in that contest, you have Musab Ali, Hudson County Commissioner Bill O'Day, Wardee, Councilman James Solomon, Council President Joyce Waterman, and former Governor Jim McGreevey. So, on the legislative side for a moment, I mentioned this bill from Assemblywoman Ramirez. It's called Cassie's Law. And again, this is to penalize those who intentionally hide evidence of a crime inspired by an assault victim of Sean P. Diddy Combs. So she said in a statement, survivors of abuse deserve every opportunity to pursue justice without obstruction, and we need to provide an avenue for retribution when obstruction does occur. Casey Ventura should have been able to access her own evidence within the statute of limitations. This happens far too often to victims of domestic violence, and it needs to end now. So if you guys haven't been following the Puff Daddy saga closely, there was a hotel attack between Sean Combs and Cassie Ventura in 2016, and eventually surveillance footage surfaced, but it didn't surface until 2024, and the statute of limitations had already expired, and it turns out that Combs had bribed the staff not to release the footage. So, with that, folks, we're about to go to a break. When I come back, I'm going to sit down with Jersey City Ward B Council candidate Joel Brooks. We'll be right back.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one path stop away, or a quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants. All major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Hudson County View live at Uncut. Chatter-itis, as I said a few moments ago. Today I'm joined with Jersey City Ward B Council candidate Joel Brooks. Joel, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me, John.
No problem. So obviously you had this razor close, I should say, race in 2021 with the incumbent, Mayor Prince Harry, and a lot of people were hoping you were going to run again, and you came out pretty early. I think that was August, right? And now you and Hudson County Commissioner Bill O'Day have traded endorsements, which is, I think most would say that's a strong boon to your candidacy. He's obviously the godfather of the West Side, as some have said. So just from 2021 to today, just walk us through what was going on.
Yeah, I mean, a lot happened. The most important thing is Marisol and I became parents to a beautiful baby girl, Esmeralda. Daddy's on TV.
Congratulations.
When you watch this. So, yeah, that's been, family's been the focus for a lot of that time, but I've stayed engaged. Folks who helped lead our campaign in 2021 went on to organize for a tenant's right to counsel, which was passed by the Jersey City Council. And those folks were kind of the ground troops, knocking on doors, talking to tenants, hosting town hall meetings. And so, yeah, tried to stay engaged. I've been fortunate to work with Bill on some tenants issues in the last couple of years. And although we haven't officially endorsed, I want to say, we're talking, and I consider him a mentor.
Right, makes sense. Now, your question that I get occasionally, and I think I know the answer, but I don't think the broader public knows. So, why not just jump on the ticket? Given everything you just said.
Sure. So, ran independently in 2021, and I heard from residents of the West Side that was a really important component of our campaign. So for me, being independent means not taking corporate or real estate developer contributions, focusing on grassroots campaign contributions. And being independent means you can be flexible, right? No permanent enemies, no permanent allies.
It's a novel concept.
Yeah, you may have heard that one before. But, I think it gives me the flexibility to work with folks when it makes sense and to disagree in principle when that makes sense.
All right, point taken. On the other side of the coin, why do you think Bill O'Day is the best candidate for Jersey City Mayor?
Bill has a track record of, since before I was born, of working, hands-on, sleeves rolled up for working class people. When I heard tens of people. Bill, helped me in this instance, with my landlord, getting a job, getting on my feet, plugging into a program. And, I've seen up close how he really cares. I'll use one example. 96 Duncan Ave, they didn't have heat. This was early 2022.
Yes, I definitely remember.
Yeah, he came on a weekend, and he took a tour of the building, and we both saw a family of 5 sleeping in one bed. And I saw that really affected him. And he, was on the phone, going up the chain, making sure that the heat got turned on, and it was turned on in a matter of days.
All right. Well, yeah, certainly you can't say that everyone will do that, but it's good that we have some people that will, obviously, here in Jersey City. Now, as everybody knows, you had a close race. It was like a 52-48 at the most, it was less than 200 votes. And now we're not sure what the incumbent's doing. And at the moment, it's a three-person field, including yourself. I'm sure we'll get more, but, does that change your approach to this race at all, or just not really?
It does. Jim McGreevey has a candidate, and he has a lot of financial resources. Seems like, just he's printing money over there. James Solomon has a candidate, also going to be, that's going to be a strong campaign citywide. And Mira, she's a two-term incumbent, so she hasn't made her plans clear. So we're not sure what she's going to do. That's, of course, up to her. I think what gives us the edge this time is, working in coalition, having a base that we bring from 2021. And I'm proud to have the endorsement of North New Jersey DSA, Democratic Socialists of America. And, that is a very powerful ground game that our volunteers were able to put together. And I think that's what got us that close in 2021.
All right, so I definitely want to talk about that. So that's a longer conversation, though. So let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back, folks.
Panepinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panepintodevelopment.com. Panepinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
No one plans on heart disease, but everyone should have a plan for it. We help patients of all lifestyles and medical histories plan for healthy hearts. We offer convenient screenings without judgment, hundreds of preventive programs, and women's heart specialists. And we're the largest cardiac surgery program in New Jersey. Make plans for a healthy heart with RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
Hudson County View, live at Uncut, Chowder Heights, and I'm still here with Jersey City Ward B Council candidate Joel Brooks. So you were just talking about the DSA before we went to a break, and of course, you embraced them in 21, and you had the success that you did, and you're embracing them again, which shouldn't surprise anybody based on what we saw 4 years ago. But the one thing that's different is obviously the national politics, and a lot of people, Republican and Democrat alike, have said the further we go left, the more the country's in disarray, and you see the online discourse is not exactly polite, and you could argue it's never been. But, so with that said, did you ever have any trepidation about embracing them again?
No. I've heard a similar argument that, I should say a family friend of mine said, "Why can't you be a regular Democrat?" And I said, well, I am a Democrat. I vote, check my voting record. I vote in every primary because I think it's important to have a voice in the dominant party in our county, in our city. I think I'm not a spokesperson for DSA, so I can just speak as my experience as a member.
Sure.
But the winds blow in different directions. The way I view DSA is we're like a tree planted by the water. We're here to fight for working class people's material needs. We're always on the side of tenants, workers, teachers, public school parents. And I think you see when Democrats try to have it both ways, this won't, national issues, it'll be interesting to see how it plays into this race, but tagging to the center, having the Cheneys endorse Kamala Harris, people just were not buying what they were selling. They were not speaking to people's material needs. They're saying the economy is great, and at the same time, inflation is, while it's not quite as bad as it was, it's still pinching people's pockets.
Sure.
And wages, especially if you're not in a union, are not keeping up with inflation. So I think that whatever party speaks to people's material needs, or whatever organization does that, will have success. And what that means in Jersey City is being on the side of rent control tenants, being on the side of working class homeowners who want good services for the taxes that they pay. And they're upset, when they see a $150 million tax break go to the Kushner family.
Right. Well, 2 points there. So first, you talked about the national and how that'll have an impact in Jersey City. Maybe a little, maybe a lot, but you still proactively came out against ICE raids. You wanted to preserve the sanctuary city status. So why did you feel like you wanted to get ahead of that?
I am an immigrant myself. I'm a naturalized citizen. And although it's one of the more fringe pieces that the Trump administration is trying to do, they have said that denaturalizing people is something that is on the table. That's crazy. It is bonkers. And if that's the tenor that's being set in Washington, D.C., I think it's important for people to know where candidates stand on that issue. I live in a part of the city where there are a lot of immigrants. I don't ask them if they have their papers. But Jersey City is a sanctuary city. It's a place where a lot of refugees come. Folks bring their families over to have a better life. And I think making sure that they're safe is the most important thing.
Now, obviously, you've heard the argument. I think anyone with an internet connection's heard the argument from Republican voters or officials alike that ICE is only picking up violent criminals. So in your eyes, would you say that's patently false, or how do you view that?
I think the record is there that it is false. I think the term is collateral. Like I've heard, I don't know if it was Tom Homan or somebody else say, okay, we have authorization for collateral, which means, to the layperson, if they're going to arrest a criminal, right, that if there's someone else and they ask them what their status is and they can't produce documentation, they could sweep them up. That happened in Newark, right? And so Trump ran on mass deportation. I mean, those were signs at the Republican National Convention. So, I try and take him at his word. So if that's his goal, he's not too worried about, what the law is, what the guidelines are, and it seems like collateral is on the table. And that's people's dads, moms, brothers, sisters getting swept up and essentially disappeared.
Gotcha. So you mentioned the KRE group and you alluded to the Pompidou. Now, you've been pretty outspoken about the things you don't like about this administration, even though the mayor obviously is seeking greener pastures. So why did you think that was important to be vocal about that?
Well, I'll answer that, but also I would ask, the mayor comes to city council for things he thinks are really important.
Yes.
And this is something that he came out for, and so obviously it was important to him. And so it's curious why, he would stake so much political capital on a tax break for, I think, a billionaire family. I think there were other ways to accomplish that goal and, get the Pompidou into the city. I'm not against the Pompidou, the Centre Pompidou.
Good French accent.
Thank you. Swallow your R's. I think, as taking all the economics off the table, it's a great concept. And we certainly need more cultural centers in Jersey City. But I think when, you have folks' taxes going up every year, right, and that's split up three ways: the county, the city, and the education levy. It's going up every year, right? And I can speak to the west side. We don't have clean streets. We don't have resurfaced roads. We still have public schools with no air conditioning. That it's hard to make that argument that is a priority when we're not meeting the priority needs of people on the west side.
Joel, thank you so much. Best of luck. We'll obviously be talking. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. We're not done yet. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and launch inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one pass stop away, or a quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
Hudson County View live on Uncut. John Arhitis. A few more stories before we call it a week. So, as I mentioned at the top of the program, we had 3 United States representatives, and that was LaMonica McIver of the 10th District, Bonnie Watson-Coleman of the 12th, and Rob Menendez, of course, of the 8th, our Hudson County Congressman. They went to Core Civic, which is that ICE detention center in Elizabeth, and this was just 2 days ago, and it was an unannounced visit, which is something different. And the reason being, they have a lot of questions about ICE activity. Menendez has been pretty outspoken about this. He sent a letter, Department of Homeland Security and to ICE. And, let's unpack. So in recent weeks, we've witnessed President Trump escalate his attacks on immigrant communities, including those here on the 8th, fueling fear and uncertainty, he wrote on X, referring to ICE raids in Newark, Union City, and West New York. Today, alongside Rep. LaMonica and Rep. Bonnie, I toured the Elizabeth Detention Center to conduct an unannounced oversight visit of the facility. We will remain steadfast in our work to maintain checks and balances with the executive branch and conduct rigorous oversight of ICE and DHS. So if you guys recall, not too long ago, it was June, he put up a bill which would have prevented ICE from entering into agreements with private prison facilities, just like Core Civic. However, with the Republican majority, it got voted down, and he then chided them over that, as you would expect. And he also called for Core Civic to permanently close in July 23, and he paid his first visit there in January 24. So we heard from McIver, and you see she's been very outspoken against this Trump administration in her early tenure in the House. And she said, today we exercised our oversight responsibility to inspect an ICE facility, and we were denied access and delayed for nearly an hour. Once inside, we questioned agents and saw the facility, but we still need more answers for our community on ICE activity and raids. The agency's actions in Newark have threatened and scared people across New Jersey. We are just getting started in the work to hold ICE accountable and demand answers about the safety of our neighbors. So a very interesting visit, if I say so myself. I don't know how much was accomplished, but I guess we're going to find that out in the coming days. So over to 2025 in Hoboken, the Mile Square City. Third Ward Councilman Mike Russo, you guys see he's raised over $300,000 already, clearly running for mayor, but not declared. Rolled out a quality of life and public safety plan. Also a health component to that as well. And he said in a statement, Hoboken is an overall safe place, but recently signs of neglect have really started to affect the way that Hoboken residents go about their daily lives. Whether it's violent incidents in our parks, a seemingly never-ending rat problem, or e-bikes piled up on our streets, these issues have been noticeable, and residents are not happy with the current administration. And he broke it down into 6 different categories: crime, park safety, e-bikes, homelessness, rats, and ADA compliance. So we're running short, so I'm just going to move on to the next thing quickly. An interesting tax case. I mean, this is the last one that I could recall covering, maybe ever, but definitely the last one I could recall. And Secaucus filed a lawsuit against the New Jersey Division of Taxation in Jersey City, and they actually are now going to essentially get $1.5 million less in Hudson County taxes. As you heard just in my interview with Joel Brooks, actually perfect segue, we have the municipal, the county, and the Board of Ed taxes. So in Secaucus, that's going to go down a little bit. So Mayor Michael Ganelli said this is a tremendous tax savings to our residents and business community. We're very happy with the outcome of this tax litigation. This is just another example of how my administration continuously works for the benefits of our community. With that, folks, we're going to call it a day. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.